Hey comic book fans, welcome to the Comic Fix. Now this is a new segment called the Comic Talk About, where I'm going to be talking about all the news that's happened this week. Well, what has happened this week is that DC Comics has announced more cancellations. Now with cancellations, that means new books coming in. Well, we didn't get the news for the new books that are coming in. What we got is a cancellation. So I'm going to be going through the cancellation of the books through which wave they came in. Now the original 52 books, there are 3 of them that got canceled. Number 1, Savage Hawkman. Number 2, Deathstroke. Now what do these 2 books have in common? Is that Rob Liefeld, the beautiful Rob Liefeld from the 90s, comes in like Galactus and destroys these books. Now they had, Justin Jordan come in after the just garbage, the shit that Rob Liefeld did with those 2 books, and they say to Justin Jordan, come in and try to fix it. It was too much for him to handle, and you know what happened? DC wiped their hands with those 2 books and just said, there's nothing we can do. So they canceled the books. Am I glad that they did? Hell yeah, I am. I have not been reading them, especially Savage Hawkman. I did not like... I absolutely hate anything with Rob Liefeld. And then they had, oh god, I cannot think of his name, but the writer who was on Detective Comics, he did the first 3 issues, and they were just, oh god, freaking awful. So I haven't been reading that book, and Deathstroke, I haven't been reading that one either. Although I have heard that Justin Jordan, who came on after Rob Liefeld, the apocalyptic destroyer of comics, after Justin Jordan came on, I heard he did a pretty good job with his first 2 issues with Deathstroke. So, and I'm going to get back on Justin Jordan, but just keep in mind, Justin Jordan may be a good writer. And then the last one for the first wave is Fury of Firestorm. Yeah, this book, I read it the first 4 issues when it came out. Didn't really care about it. I mean, it did have Gail Simone on there, and that was all great and fantastic, but once she left, the book just became boring to me. And then Dan Jurgens, I believe he's the writer who came on, and when he came on, I'm sorry to say, but that was just a shitty ass issue, and I was just like, oh god, I don't want no part of it. So what did DC do? They canceled the books. Now, the books that came out in the second wave that are canceled are The Ravagers. Now, The Ravagers, you may say, I have never picked that book up. Well, of course you haven't, because they're canceling the book. But let me just say this. The first 6 issues, I liked. I mean, it had something there. A book that came out in the Cooling event, the Cooling, was freaking horrible. But then The Ravagers came out, and it was pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. Except for the last issue. Last issue, as I said, was a major burn, and it was just fucking terrible. So, The Ravagers got canceled. I don't know what to think about that. And then the book that kind of got me a little pissed off was Swords of Sorcery. So, a girl book that DC editorial or the marketing team just had all this purple in there and these, all these different colors, and a female character on there, which, by God, the writer that they had on that book made that book so freaking interesting that you just looked at the cover and you're just like, people are not going to buy this, but it's really freaking good if you gave it a chance. Now, the 0 issue that came out that a lot of people bought, it looked exactly what the cover was portraying on it. I mean, it just seemed like this teen female drama that just was something I personally did not want to read. Then I read the first issue, technically the second issue. That issue was so mind-blowing, and you just saw that there was thoughts or just well planned out plans for this whole entire world, and they were just building on this world that you're just like, oh my god, this is what it means by Swords and Sorcery? This is fantastic. Maybe DC Comics looked at that book and said, we could have this Amethyst character on our Justice League Dark. Okay, we can move her over there, because that's one of the things that DC Comics said, is that Any character that we canceled his or her main book, we're going to move them on to different titles. So what did they do? They're going to be moving Amethyst most likely onto Justice League Dark. Just like what they did with Frankenstein Agent of Shade and moving Frankenstein over to that book also. I wonder how big that book is, or how big of a group that series is going to get once all these books get canceled, because you know that there's more coming. So I'm really sad to see this book go. I mean, this book had potential to be something special, but DC Comics didn't let it grow, and they canceled it right now. Now, the thing that I think is that we did not fail this book with our wallet, but the marketing team did. And if I was not such a big DC fan, I would not have given this book a chance. But I did, because I am a big DC fan, and it was well worth it. Now I'm sad to see it go. Now with the change-ups. So, change-ups could be good or bad. In this case, it's a little bit of both. And don't be afraid by this little gesture that I was doing to my... Oh God, I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going to go that way. So we had some change-ups. Alright, so we got Michael Allen Nelson, who will be taking over Supergirl from Mike Johnson. I'm going to say this. Mike Johnson, he did a fantastic job on Supergirl. He took Supergirl, this character, personally, I didn't really care about. Well, in the New 52, I gave her a chance, and I really enjoyed what both Mikes were doing with Supergirl. And so, I just enjoyed it so much. But then I thought it lost kind of its pacing once Hell on Earth started up. And so, I guess DC Comics saw that also, and they're like, okay, we're going to have a new writer on here. Now, the thing that got me the most excited for most of all is that Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray are coming on to Batwing. Oh, yeah. Alright, with Batwing, he has been one of my favorite comic books in the New 52. It's been consistently good. I mean, they haven't had these terrible issues. It's been one of those consistent books, and it's a Bat book. And DC Comics has been really good at just, having their Bat books have quality teams on there. Now with Batwing, we got Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti. I am freaking excited to see where that's going to go. Don't know if these guys are going to be continuing on All-Star Western, but this is going to be freaking awesome. So keep on a lookout for that. That's going to be happening in May. And then lastly is Sterling Gates is going to be doing the first 4 issues on Vibe. Okay, so who is Sterling Gates, you may be asking yourself. Well, back when the New 52 started, a little book called Hawk and Dove came around, and it was written by Sterling Gates and art by the freaking terrible Rob Liefeld. And so Rob Liefeld, doing what he always does, he did more than just destroy a book. He went and almost destroyed a career with Sterling Gates. Now, Sterling Gates, he's my boy. You know why? Because he's a freaking Giants fan. I love him on his Twitter account. You see him with the Giants hat, and they're always talking about the Giants. And sometimes I would just comment back and forth. We'll just talk about on Twitter about the Giants. And so, Sterling Gates, you're awesome just because you're a freaking Giants fan. And so, I was glad to see that he is actually still in comics, because I was actually really worried that you were not still in comics. So if you're watching Sterling Gates, I'm glad you're back. And so with that, oh yeah, there was also one more. Tom DeFalco is being replaced by Justin Jordan in the Superboy book. Now, as I said, Justin Jordan, he kind of picked up the pieces with Deathstroke from Rob Liefeld, and as I've heard, I didn't give it a chance, but he did a pretty good job with the first 2 issues that he did. All I've heard is praises from the people that read that book. So I'm kind of interested to see where he's going to take Superboy, and I may still pick up Superboy after the Hell on Earth is done with. Now, also in news is that there's that what the fuck, or not what the fuck, but WTF for April for DC Comics. Now, one thing DC Comics is, well, any big market people want to do is try to get money. So what do? They have this marketing of WTF for all the comics in April for DC News 52. Now, me personally, I'm not a person that goes online and look at the solicits for the upcoming month, so I don't really know all that much, and there hasn't been as much said from DC Comics side, except that just to expect every single book to have a what the fuck type of moment, or just to push the limits of comics. All it sounds like is bullshit to me. I don't know. I mean, did I personally like the Zero month for DC Comics? Sometimes. Other times it was just bullshit. So I don't know what to think about DC. What the fuck? So all I'm going to say now is kind of bullshit. Yeah. And as you guys all should know is that I am one of those guys that loves DC Comics. And I know bullshit when I hear it. And I think that's going to be the what the fuck that's going to be happening. I'm just saying. So in other news, this is just pertaining to me, is that as you can tell, I haven't put out a video for my comic haul video or any of my reviews for this week. Well, the reason why is because stupid me, I got kind of drunk on Super Bowl Sunday. And what happened to me is that I came home, my friend drove me home. I fell asleep. I woke up, searched through my pants, looking for my debit card. Couldn't find my debit card. So what did I do? I just called up my debit card company. I was like, hey, can you guys send me a new one? You know, I lost my debit card. And so they say, okay, we'll send you another one. It's been 5 days. Hopefully it'll come in tomorrow. But I heard that mailing's not coming in on Saturdays anymore. So they tell me you have to wait 5 to 10 business days. Okay, that sucks. And then 10 minutes later, after I get the call, or after I call them, my friend texts me. He's like, hey, dude, you dumbass. You left your debit card in my car. Yep. So I have no access to money right now. I just have $100, which I'm just barely just spending just to, just to get to work or whatnot. And I'm missing out on all these comics. I want to watch your guys' videos, but I can't because I don't want anything to get ruined with the surprise of this comic week. As some of you guys tell, is that with my videos, I've been kind of dabbing into Marvel. Just know that my video channel is going to be mostly almost 100% focused on DC Comics, because with me just focusing in on one company, I'm able to look at it as a whole and be able to actually read the comics and just know that there's some just, really good stuff out there that a lot of people are not reading. Like Swords of Sorcery. No one was reading them except I was. And then we get those couple of those people who are like, hey, you like Swords of Sorcery too? Or Red Lanterns. Hey, you like Red Lanterns? Well, I do too, and I'm so glad that you're doing reviews for them. And that's what I'm kind of going for, I could go for, a mix, like a half and half of DC Comics and Marvel. And then I can miss out on some good stuff on one side. Well, I know I'm missing out on a lot of good stuff on Marvel's side, but I did not grow up with Marvel. Yes, I did watch their cartoons, but it was always, for me, it was about the Batman, the anime series, and Superman the anime series. I mean, that cartoon, for me personally, beat the shit out of Spider-Man and the X-Men animated series that was coming out at the time. Even though right now I went on Netflix, I've been watching the X-Men and the Spider-Man one. I'm like, this is a lot better than I thought at the time. But still, Batman the anime series beat out those series by a mile. I mean, I could go back and look at Batman the anime series and watch any episode and be like, oh my god, there's my childhood. Funny fact is that I was going through my comics, because I got actually some piles of comics. And you know what I found? My first ever comic in one of these piles. And it was a Superman, I don't remember what issue, but it was just one that at my first ever time I went to a comic book store, I was living in Ukiah at the time. And you know what's funny though? Is that Ukiah was the original place for, that the characters were in Lock and Key. If you go back into like the first issue of Lock and Key, and they talk about no, that's where it's taking place now, I think. Well, anyways, there was a reference to Ukiah, to San Francisco, and that they were in Ukiah. And that's where the dad got killed. To start the whole entire saga of Lock and Key, all starting out in Ukiah, which I lived there, which that was actually pretty cool to find out, in the series Lock and Key. But anyways, I found my first ever comic, and I actually started reading it, and it was really torn up, but I was just like, oh my god, they're my first ever comic book I ever picked up with my own money. So that just brought a smile on my face. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.